Alright guys. Oh, that was a good one. That's good contact there. Alright, what's up guys? It's my hair. Do I have a flop over here? What's going on here? Do you see this? Alright guys, what's up? We're here today. I put up on my story earlier today a question box for you guys to ask some questions that I'm going to now answer. I have it goes fucking forever here, so I'm clearly not going to be able to answer all of them, so if I don't get your question, I apologize. I'll try and do these intermittently between now and the Olympia and you know, to bring up the training videos or food videos or whatever, but just, you know, something a little different. But yeah, we got a shit ton of questions, so let's get into it here. First one, how do you sleep at night? How many pillows do you need? Well, I sleep at night by laying down in my bed and closing my eyes and falling asleep, like everybody else on the planet. How many pillows do I need? I generally sleep with two. I use like one kind of thinner one, and then I use like a fancier pillow I have that's like kind of like springy, like it's like some kind of fancy material like bamboo or fucking rubber tree or something, but it's good. So I put that on top, and I have like a thinner one on bottom, and that's perfectly fine for me. I don't need 15 pillows or anything weird like that. I sleep just fine. Did you ever meet Dallas? Yes, I did meet Dallas. I actually, yeah, we were just talking about this. I actually was down in 2016. Him and Matt Jansen were working together, and I was working with Matt Jansen at the time as well. I actually started working with Matt Jansen because I followed Dallas and followed his career and what he was kind of doing with Matt, and it really, you know, enticed me. A younger guy who's kind of about the same age as me, was making crazy progress, and it was something I wanted to be a part of. So that's how I started working with Matt. And yeah, in 2016, I came down to Knoxville, Tennessee, where Matt Jansen was living at the time, and the Arsenal Strength headquarters was, which is where they were training out of. And came down there, trained for a week with both of them. It was an awesome week, great memories. And yeah, I mean, I've met him a handful of times after that, but that was like the most, you know, significant memory of Dallas I definitely have. What's your biggest fan pet peeve? Very easy one, and this is giving me questions with absolutely no fucking context. If you give me a question and say, what should I eat to lose weight? It's like, well, I don't know nothing about you, so I need to know your goals. I need to know what you're looking like now and what you're eating now. I mean, and don't, that's not like an open invite for everyone to send me every single thing about their fucking life, because I actually don't want all that. But you can't, if I'm doing a Q&A where it's an open forum for these kind of things and you guys are sending questions, think about your questions and think about how could someone answer this properly. You need to give context, you need to give data, I mean, things that I need on my end to answer your question appropriately, or I'm going to skip it, or I'm going to make fun of you. So if you want actual answers to your questions, think them out properly, and give me the details that you think are relevant into your question.
Don't come up to him when he's spotting his training partner.
That was today. When you used finasteride, did you have any sore pain in muscles or sore pain / in muscles? No, I never had any side effects whatsoever from finasteride. I used it from 2013 till probably beginning of 2021, so I mean like 8 years, and I never noticed anything from it whatsoever. I mean, I know people have reported, you know, sexual dysfunction or you know, some depressive side effects or emotional change or something like that. I never had anything of the sort. I stopped it in early 2021, just really as an experiment to see if it would have any kind of positive effect on my physique. You know, blocking DHT and these kind of things. I was like, well, maybe it'll help me get a little drier, a little harder if I cut it out. It's really hard to say if it had any positive or negative impact after that. You know, I've gotten good shape since then, so I mean, correlation or causation, I'm not really too sure. But I didn't lose any more hair by cutting it. So at this point, I'm not like overly worried about it. I'm not going to start it again. I'm going to be getting a hair transplant done in Turkey in the next year or two. It's supposed to be in January, but we have some trips that we'd like to do, and those kind of take precedent over getting fucking hair. I can get head of hair, whatever. So, so I'm not too concerned. But after you do your hair, it is recommended to use finasteride to help keep it. Or I could just do my hair every couple of years and just say fuck that. But you know, to get your money's worth per se, quote unquote, out of the hair transplant, it is advised to use finasteride after. But no, to answer your question, I never had any side effects at all. Advice for better digestion and stomach. Well, this is a couple things that can go into this. You know, obviously it depends if you're eating a food that's maybe causing digestive issues. You know, you need to do some kind of elimination diet, or if there's some foods in your diet that are typical foods that people have digestive issues from, probably start eliminating and eliminate one at a time. If you're doing an elimination diet, you can't eliminate 3 things at a time because then you can't narrow it down. One food, pick one. Say you're eating egg whites, take out the egg whites. Wait a couple days, wait a week, see if your digestion improves. If it doesn't, okay, remove something else. That might be protein powder, let's say. These are just a couple typical things. There could be oats or some kind of gluten that you're eating. So just kind of work through things and see. After that, if none of the foods are causing it, then you can start adding in things like Revive makes the GI, or you could have fiber product or digestive enzymes. It could be a gut flora or bacteria issue, so maybe a probiotic would be helpful. But yeah, those are just a couple suggestions, so you can start there and work your way through it. I think you could have turned pro natty. No, probably not. Competing in, maybe if I competed in a natural division, but could I have competed in the open stream as a natural bodybuilder and turn pro? No, definitely not. I mean, the super heavyweights and heavyweights that are competing at the national level are exceptional, and you have to be one hell of a genetic anomaly to be able to compete with these guys or beat these guys naturally. Someone like Quentin Araya, he turned pro naturally in a natural show and then switched to the open after that. That's a different story. Maybe in a tested division where everybody else is natural. Could I have? Perhaps. But that really isn't something that interested me at the time. I wanted to compete with the best bodybuilders. And no offense to anyone competing naturally, the best bodybuilders in my mind are in open bodybuilding. Which cardio you prefer when bulking? I kind of do the same cardio method all year. I do the recumbent bike. I just find it the easiest on my joints and legs, and I find, especially during a prep or even on the off season, because there's no eccentric loading. When you think of like stepping or the step mill or the treadmill, there's an impact. With an elliptical, let's say, or the bike, there's no eccentric load or no impact, which I find definitely the easiest on my legs and my joints, so I usually stick to that. Would you raise a family in Florida? Probably not, and it's not because I think it's like a terrible place or anything. Just our families, both Melissa and I's families are in Canada, around the Ottawa area. So I'd probably like to be close to our families. And it's a place that I grew up and I know as home, and I would like my kids to have a similar childhood experience that I had. I had a really great childhood, and I would obviously like my kids to have a great one as well. So, no, I would like to stay in Canada to have my children. Where is Melissa? Please bring her back into your videos. Melissa's still in Canada. We made a little oopsie. We came back when all our visa stuff was done, or we thought was done. We came back to Canada because she had a wedding to go to at the beginning of September. But when you cross the border before your visa is approved, it changes the dynamic of what kind of visa you're doing. So it goes from a change of status, where if in the US it's just a change of status, to when you're back in Canada, you need to do, go to the embassy, do an interview, these kind of things. So we kind of, rushed back to going into Canada. See, I already have a visa, so it's fine for me. She didn't, so she was in the application process for her spousal visa off of my visa. So now she's just waiting for her interview, which is November 1st. She'll do her embassy interview November 1st, and then after that process, then she'll come back down here and spend the rest of the year here until we go to the Olympic. Who pronounces Ian better, Milos or Guy? Probably Milos. He probably takes the cake for saying my name the most ridiculous way. I'm not even going to attempt to try and say it how he says it. Guy just says Ian. Ian. He kind of cuts it short like a little jersey, but Milos gives some whole other thing. So I'll give Milos the cake on that one. Mozzarella or cheddar? What do you like? If I'm just going to eat a slice of it, cheddar for sure. I mean, they're different cheeses, I guess, right? And if you're using them, some are stretchier, better for melting certain things. I mean, if you're putting it on pizza or something, I think you put mozzarella. You don't put cheddar on a pizza. But if I'm having fucking cheese or crackers or something, I'd probably go for a cheddar. Yeah. Thoughts on Ramy at 10 weeks out? He looks great. He's the Olympia champion. I expect nothing less. I know he was at a bit of a deficit last year, so having a full year of training and being with Chad and all that kind of stuff this year, I expect to see a much improved Ramy. I'm very excited. His pictures at 10 weeks out look like he's improved, and I would be very surprised if he does not repeat as the 3-time Olympia champion. That's a good question. You won shows in 3 different countries. The biggest differences between competing in USA, Canada, and Europe. I mean, between Canada and the US, not a bunch different. Like if you go do the Toronto Pro, you know, it's run by Ron Hache, who's like also an Olympia judge and, you know, works with the NPC and all these kind of things. So, you know, the Toronto Pro, or like, you know, until COVID years, was very, very similar to doing any American show. It was a big show, had an expo, had all the divisions. You know, it would feel very similar to going like a Tampa Pro or Chicago Pro or anything like that. So, perfectly normal show. I mean, if you can do an American normal show. European shows are definitely a little different. I've only done 2, so I'm only going to give what my experience was with them, and I honestly didn't really like them. They felt a little amateur, a little disorganized. You know, they didn't have really anything for the athletes in terms of tanning organized or backstage pump-up stuff organized. You know, I did one show in Portugal where they had like the stage that came out of the ground up, which sounds cool and it looked cool for the fans, but doing it from an athlete's perspective, it took a long time. It was very inconvenient. We had to stand around while every single athlete did their individuals on stage. It was kind of awkward, and you're also like losing your pump. So, you know, as of now, I don't have any plans to do any more European shows right now. Does Uhmbian cause water retention? It can, yeah, absolutely, and that's why most bodybuilders will cut the Uhmbian out of their stack, or, you know, their supplement stack a week or so, 2 weeks out, 5 days, whatever, out from any bodybuilding competitions, just to mitigate any water or inflammation that you might have from it. But if you find you're getting super hard and dry with it in, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, but, you know, the fat burning should be done when you're going into the final week, so you shouldn't need it in as a fat burner. If you're needing it in that late, you probably did something wrong along the way, but it never hurts to cut it out and just err on the side of caution, so just go for it, yeah. What are your favorite carbs in a growing plan? Jasmine rice. I mean, that's what I eat for the majority of my carbs. It's the easiest to prepare. You can prepare a lot at once very easily. It's easy to eat. You can make it with grounds, mix it in, put oil in there, kind of mix it all together. Definitely my favorite. Are you using hyaluronic acid? How long usually if you're taking? Well, hyaluronic acid is like what girls use for lip filler, and I'm assuming you're probably meaning like something like Metaform, which is a hyaluronic acid based substance. It's not quite like straight hyaluronic acid like you would say like filler is. But no, I'm not using that. So I don't have an answer for you there. All right, has inflation or anything affected your bodybuilding negatively? Not in any direct amount. I mean, like obviously things cost more, so it has some impact on me, but any like bit that's made any difference in my life, or like I've had to budget differently or anything, no, it's not really changed anything. I've also been in the US most of the time. The inflation here is not nearly as bad as in Canada, so it's been a little better for me, if anything. Is it more anabolic to inject test right into my nuts? I don't know, bro. Try it out and let me know how it goes. Just kidding. Don't do that, please. Are you coaching C-Bum? Well, if you went and watched Chris's fucking video, you'd already know the answer to this, and the answer is no. We decided to part ways, completely mutual. This is a good decision, a happy decision. You know, we wanted our relationship as individuals and our brotherhood to come first, and we didn't want to affect that with putting too much strain on each other in terms of the coaching dynamic. You know, when Chris is trying to win his 4th Olympia, and now it's different when I'm coming 14th at the Olympia and barely winning shows, but now I'm fighting for first call-outs, and I need my energy and attention to be where it should be and focused on myself and not the stress of prepping a 4-time Mr. Olympia going into that show. So we've decided to part ways. You can go check his video up on his channel. Trend at bulking, good idea or not? I don't think so. I think it's a pretty heavily hepatotoxic drug, and if you're going to use it, you should save it for contest prep. I think there's a lot better and safer options that can be used in the off-season, and the best tool you have in the off-season is food. Food will make you grow better than any drug, so use the drugs that are the least toxic, that you get the most out of, like a Tesla Primo or something like that, or if you want to put a little NPP or something, and just get your food up. Clean food, lots of food, be progressive with your food, be progressive with your training, save the trend for prep. Best gyms in Montreal, Atlantis, Monster, what's the third one? There's a third one. I can't remember. There's a third good one too, but Atlantis and Monster are both great gyms, and there's some others there as well. So, Raw is launching in India. Does it mean we can expect you and Chris in India to promote Raw? I don't know. Don't know the answer to that. Maybe, maybe not. I hope not this year. I got Olympia to prep for, so I hope they're not planning any trips across the fucking world. But maybe in the future. I mean, it'd be cool to come out and meet all the fans. I know, there's some really hardcore bodybuilding fans out there that are, really like to see North American bodybuilders come out. So if we have the opportunity, I'll absolutely be on top of it. What is the tattoo written on your traps? It says, "No glory without sacrifice." Something like that. Something along those lines. Some like fucking cheesy bodybuilder quote. Did Urs really bench 5 plates? I don't know. Did he?
I've never even heard of that.
I've never seen him bench 5 plates, but I mean, he's a fucking big dude. So I mean, it wouldn't. If you told me he had, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, really?" I'd be like, "Oh, cool, yeah." I mean, he's big, he's strong, sure, cool. Ever used Chris's ice bath? I've been in it once, maybe twice. It's very cold. It's very icy. Yeah, but I mean, I live 90 minutes south from him now, so I'm not like there every day jumping in this fucking ice bath. But yes, I have used it once. Is 2 IUs of GH daily worth it, or is more needed? Well, it depends. What's your goal? Are you trying to be Rammy, or are you trying to make a little bit of progress, help with a little fat burning, a little anti-aging? Then yeah, 2 IUs is definitely sufficient. No need to go crazy. I find kind of the sweet spot, if you want to start to get hypertrophy benefits of it, is probably like 4 IUs, but 2 IUs is definitely good for sure. Okay, next question. What was your first cycle and why did you decide to hop on? My first cycle was 400 milligrams a week of Sustanon, I think it was. And I decided to hop on because I wanted to be fucking bigger. I mean, like what? Why does anyone take steroids? Because they want to be bigger, better, stronger? I mean, like it's the same answer for everybody, How do you choose which class is best for you? Too many options now. This question, honestly, I really don't like because you should compete in the class you like and that you want to look like and want to do. You don't compete in the class you think you'll be the most successful in. I could probably, you could probably name a million guys that might be more successful in classic versus bodybuilding or 212 or, men's physique or blah, 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 but they stay in the division they love and they like. I do not agree whatsoever with guys picking the class based off of what they think they'll be the most successful in, because it's like, why are you then competing? Just to be successful or because you like it? If you are just doing it to be successful, well, why wouldn't you? Why do you care about being successful in something that you don't even like the most? It's just silly to me. So do whatever class you like the look of. If you like classic physique guys, if you look up to C-Bum and Terrence and Urs and Ramon and these kind of guys, then drive for a classic look. If you want to be a fucking freak show and you want to look like Nick Walker, then obviously being an open bodybuilder is for you. If you don't want to train your legs, then be Brandon Hendrickson. That wasn't a pick at anyone specific. I was just picking the top dogs, What's your aim for this year's Mr. O? It's a tough question because, you can't really, I can't base my expectations and aim off placings. If you ask me what my aim is to be better than the last show I did, which is Vancouver. In Vancouver, my aim was to be better than the last show I did, which is the Olympia. I always just want to be better. I can't control how other guys look. I can't control my placing. I can't control anything like that. I know if I bring what I think I'm capable of, and the best version of myself, I can improve on my placing from last year. I think I can improve, and I think I can, make a good dent in that Olympia and shock a lot of people. I think I'm on very good trajectory to do so. But in terms of placing, I have no idea. There's a lot of guys in this lineup I've also never competed with, that have never been on the Olympia stage. And for that, I'm actually very excited. Guys like Samson, Andrew Jack, Derek Lunsford. There's a lot of new guys there that I'm very excited to get the opportunity to stand with and potentially beat. I think I can beat any of these guys, and I would like my opportunity to showcase that, right? Do you prefer free weights or machines? For what? If I had to pick only one or the other, I probably would pick machines. I think the tension is better, and when it comes to hypertrophy, tension is king. So I would probably pick that, but you need a lot of machines to be able to have a full arsenal to train your whole body, where you could have a rack of dumbbells and do a whole load of shit. So if I was, picking for a home gym, I would rather have just dumbbells, because then you're going to buy 50 machines to compensate for that. So, cables, machines, I definitely prefer as an overall, but there's places and times for everything. I think dumbbells are great. There's a lot of great movements. Dumbbell pressing and a lot of movements that are excellent movements, but I also think that there's a lot of machines that are superior in many ways. So pick the right tool for the job, A little bit of synthol in the calves won't hurt. Actually, it will. I was actually just watching Chris Cormier talking about this on the podcast that he does with Tarek Al-Gundy and Tim Wilkin, and they were talking. He was saying that he had used it in his calves in his career, and that it actually caused some disintegration of the muscle, which is not the first time I've heard this. So, with my already shitty calves, if I start putting shit in there and by some chance get more disintegration of the muscle, I'll have 0 calves. It'll just be fucking bone there. So, no, I don't think it's worth the risk. At my point, I think I can improve them. I think I am improving them. I think I can make them look not like a good part. Like, I'm never going to have Dallas McCarver calves or Flex Lewis calves or Ben Pekulski or Eric Fankhauser calves, clearly. But do I think I can have calves that fit my physique and don't look like a imbalance? Yes. Do you think you'll win every Open Pro other than the O once in your career? Well, I don't have any plans to like pick every single show like to try and win them all. And there's also different shows on the schedule and agenda every year. I mean, you know, shows come and go. Like just this year, Dave Bowers announced that there won't be an Indie Pro for men's bodybuilding next year. He was moving on to different endeavors. So, like, no, I won't ever win the Indie Pro because it's gone. But other guys have won the Indie Pro. So, it's really impossible to do that per se. I hope to win every regular season show I ever do outside the Olympia. I mean, I think I can be a contender in every show like that. And I would like to continue. You know, I haven't lost a show like that since Tampa 2020 where I lost the Hunter. And then I had redemption at Olympia. But that was the last regular show I won. And I've won 4 shows straight after that. So, I would like to continue that streak alive for sure. Do you think deadlifts have helped to build your back? I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but no. I love deadlifts. I think they're an awesome movement. I think if you're starting off training, you should absolutely have deadlifting in your programming, or at least some kind of heavy hip hinge like that, you know, an RDL, stiff leg, whatever it is, you know, or a conventional deadlift. But do I think they're a back building movement? No, not necessarily. I think holding the weight, you might get some trap, you know, stuff like that. But I think in terms of building a back, like obviously doing rows and pull downs and pullovers and actual back training is going to be far, far, far superior for building your back. Do I think in regards to building glutes and hamstrings, I think deadlifts are incredible. I think RDLs are incredible. And if that's a goal of yours, you should absolutely do them. But as a back movement, I'm sorry to say, I don't think they're the best movement. When full day of eating? Soon, sure. I mean, we can film that. I think the last video we did, 2 videos ago, we got some of the meals. So you can go to my YouTube. 2 videos back, not the hamstring video. It was the back day with Brett. There's some of my meals in there. But it was kind of just like, you know, pre-post, maybe a little bit like my supplementation stuff. But if you want more than that, yeah, we can make that happen. Do you train with the same sneakers you have on in your pictures, or do you change them when you train? No, I mean, of course I train in my sneakers. I mean, the point of sneakers is to wear them, guys. Like, and look, I'm also not buying, like, I don't have like retro fucking OG Chicagos, and I'm not wearing like $6,000 shoes or like Nike mags or something in the gym. You know, I'm not putting $15,000 shoes on going to the gym. The most expensive pair of shoes I might wear to the gym might be like $800 or $1,000, and I'm wearing them from my house to my car into the gym, and then walking around a clean gym. I don't care about creasing shoes. I buy shoes to wear them, to match with my outfits. I like them. I like to style them. I like to wear them. But no, I absolutely wear them. I mean, I also like the feeling of bare feet a lot. I just find shoes like hot on my feet, and if I ever have the opportunity to just take shoes off, I do. So you'll see a lot of my training, even if it's not leg training, I might just be barefoot. I just like the feeling of it. But no, I definitely wear all the shoes I have. But I'll say that if you're someone that's a shoe collector and you're holding on to shoes, hoping for the value to increase in shoes, then yeah, it makes sense to not wear them, keep in pristine condition, keep the box, all that kind of stuff. But that's not the kind of shoe person I am. I like to wear my shoes. I like to, like I said, style them, stuff like that. And I like to show them to you guys. And, you know, it's become something I can interact with my fans on in shoes. And if I never wore them, like, I'm just taking pictures of fucking shoes in cubbies, like, that's not fun, you know? What size are you? That's a pretty fucking sus question, man. I don't know what we're talking about here. My muscles, my dick, like my brain. I mean, what are we, you know? My shoe size. What are you talking about here? I mean, what size am I? I don't know. My shirt size, I'm like a 4XL usually. I mean, this is a 4X. I'll leave it at that. My shoes, I'm a size 12. There you go. That's all you get.
2 inches.
Hard. Do you have any difficulty breathing deep in the off season? Yeah, I mean, carrying more weight, like when you're walking around or moving with more weight, it's more difficult. But I'm not like someone that's like sucking wind all the time, you know? I think my breathing's usually pretty good. I sleep well. Don't even start with me. I was complaining before that I felt I was breathing heaviness because my nose is stuffed up and trying to talk a lot at the same time, and you can't breathe through your nose as hard. So I'm like, fuck, people are gonna think I'm, fat and gasping for air here. But if you guys didn't notice, I mean, I noticed. Do you think you can beat Hunter again this year? Absolutely, I think I can beat Hunter. I think there's very few bodybuilders on the planet that I can't beat if I come in at my absolute best this Olympia, and I'm very excited to showcase that. Okay, there's 6,000 questions here asking who Chris's new coach is. That's Chris's news, guys. When Chris puts out the video, which he will, announcing who his new coach is or what his plans are, that is for him to show. We talked about our personal relationship and our relationship and, splitting up as coach-client relationship. But any more than that is for him to tell, and don't ask me that shit. That's not my question. Do you think you'll ever reach the top 4 at the Olympic before you retire? Yes, absolutely. Who was the smelliest competitor backstage? I don't know. I mean, at this point, everyone just smells. It just smells like tan back there. Like this smell of pro tan or spray tan like that at a show is such a nostalgic but such a strong smell that kind of overwhelms the entire last 3 days of the of contest. From Thursday or Friday, whenever you start tanning, it's all you smell, and it's kind of all you'll smell until you showered off, and that's really all I smell. How did you and your wife meet? Well, we actually went to high school together. We graduated the same year. We're born the same year. We're both born in 1990. We're actually only 10 days apart in age. I'm 10 days older. And we went to high school together. We didn't know each other in high school, but we had mutual friends from high school that connected us a few years after high school. We graduated in 2008. We started dating in 2012. A mutual friend of ours kind of got us together. It wasn't like setting us up, but they were hanging out, and we were hanging out, and then we all started kind of hanging out, and then one thing led to another, and now we're married. How else can I train my abductors without an abductor machine? Get an ankle cuff, cable, put it on the bottom. Go both ways you want. Adductor, abductor. Have you ever shitted your pants? Let's see right there. Have you ever shitted your pants mid-set on the leg day? If so, did you call it a day or finish up? I don't think I have ever shit myself training. I've probably had some close sketchy farts or bottom of a squat or something where it was maybe a little close, but never actually had any seepage. So no, I haven't, but depends. I mean, I guess it depends how far into the workout. If it was my first movement, I'd probably just go to the bathroom, take my underwear off and throw them in the garbage and keep going. If it was my last set, then I'd probably just call it a day and go home. What did you and Melissa do on your first date? The first bunch of times we were hanging out was mostly hang out with friends in a social circle. The first official date we went on was actually a fucking lunch date, as lame as that is. We went to a restaurant, I don't know if you guys have it in the US, but called Moxie's. It's like a semi-fancy sit-down restaurant, dark kind of vibes. But we ate lunch, and she didn't even eat. I sat there and ate a steak while she looked at me. So, but obviously it worked out okay. Hair protocol since stopping finasteride use? Zero hair protocol. I have no hair protocol whatsoever. I just let my hair do its thing. I guess, the only thing I do is I use Nizoral shampoo, which is technically for, dandruff and stuff like that, but it also does help kind of clear, scalpel androgens and stuff like that as well. So I use that maybe once or twice a week, but I'm not overly consistent with it, and my hair really hasn't changed in the last 2 or 3 years, so yeah, I don't really do much at this point. Would you ever consider starting up coaching again? That's a tough question. Well, I'm an active competitive bodybuilder. No, that's a pretty hard and fast no. After I retire, I don't know, maybe in a smaller capacity. What I have thought of doing, and let me know if you guys would be open to, or not open to this, or if you think this would be something that would interest you. Since Instagram now has subscriptions, I guess I could do it on OnlyFans, but I don't like the optics of that, so I might do it on Instagram. Has subscription-based things now set up to subscription, and it has it so only people that are subscribed to that can chat with you and stuff like that. So I might do it that only the subscribers can ask me questions. I'll answer all your questions because I'm already on Instagram answering people's questions all the time for free. So this way I can get to everybody if you're a paid subscribed member. I would make it cheap, under $10, $5, something like that. And then you guys can send in your questions. If you have questions about training, dieting, drugs, whatever it is, personal life. I mean, how to get girls. I don't have any info for that, but if you want to ask it, you can. Yeah, and for a cheap fee like that, and you guys can kind of bang out all the questions you want, and I can answer them for you. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. I will be on stage one day and destroy you and everyone else in the call out. Mark my words. Cool. Good for you, man. Good positive attitude, I guess.
Show the camera's profile.
It's got no picture. Are pull-ups rarely used with heavy bodybuilders due to weight or better exercise options? I don't necessarily agree with that. I think a lot of bodybuilders do pull-ups. I think most guys are usually doing with like the assisted platform. Because yeah, I mean, when you're 275, 280, like look, I can still do 12 or 15 pull-ups in the off season, but if I put maybe 20 or 30 pounds of assistance, I can get really good reps, really smooth reps, a nice hold at the top. I do those semi-regularly. I mean, in the off season when I was training Revive, I was doing them quite often. So, and I know a lot of other guys that do them, but yeah, I mean, just doing them with no assistance at all, there obviously is going to be some limiting factor there where guys might switch to machines, but still lots of big guys do them, absolutely. In your opinion, what is your most improved pose compared to last year? Oh, I don't know. Everything, I hope. I mean, I think just as I've grown a bit more and starting to fill out the gaps in my physique, I think I'm just starting to have more balance to my physique. I think there's less, like, as my chest has developed a little better, my back and lats have started to develop a little better. I brought up my arms a little bit since Vancouver. I think I'm starting to fill holes. And I think all my shots are going to be good shots now. Like before I would have like super strong shots like a side tricep or a front lat, but then like my front double was terrible or my back double wasn't great or my abs and thighs was awful. And then yeah, I've also been training my abs a lot, so I think they'll be far improved as well. So that's really my goal, is just to be a very well-rounded bodybuilder. And I think when I pair that with the condition that I can bring, it makes me a very dangerous bodybuilder. Is it tough to manage your marriage when traveling and career get in the way? Well, not for me, no, because my wife lives the same kind of lifestyle as I do. She's a professional competitor as well. She doesn't work like a 9-to-5 job. We go everywhere together. If we're living in Florida, she's in Florida with me not now, but most of the time. If we're going to shows, my wife is coming with me. And she's also very understanding and understands this world that we live in. I mean, her brother is a multiple-time Olympia champion. Her husband is an Olympia-level bodybuilder. Chris's fiance now, Courtney, is an Olympia winner. I mean, this is the world we live in. I mean, we're completely immersed in it, and it's really all we know. So, yeah, I mean, it's completely normal to us, and it's not difficult at all. I think it would actually be more difficult if she wasn't in the world that we're in. I mean, there's way less understanding for sure. So, no, it's very easy. Okay, we'll do one more. Mark says we're probably getting pretty long, so I'll do one more question. I'll try and find a good one. Oh, would you rather have the feeling of never finishing a shit or never finishing a piss? Never finishing a shit, 100%. The feeling of when you piss, or like when you feel like you have to piss but nothing will come out, like that swollen prostate feeling, that's the fucking worst. I don't want that. I can feel with like the incomplete shit feeling. Maybe it even feels like a little good sometimes to like have a little bit like of that peek out. But feeling like you have to piss is the fucking worst. I'm definitely not doing that. Okay, one more. One more. What brand and size pants do you wear? Legs, glutes, always fit weird in most pants. Then go hit up TBJP Clothing. The link will be in the description below in this video. My discount code's in there as well. They make codes for big dudes with big butts and big legs, and bodybuilders and not bodybuilders. Great stuff. I wear it all the time. Check them out. I just said one more and then I'm still looking at questions. I gotta stop. All right, guys. I could go for fucking 30 hours on this, so I love answering questions. But I hope you guys found this fun and somewhat useful, and I hope I got to some of your questions. There's a lot more there, so we'll probably do this again. But thanks for checking in, guys. We'll catch you next time.